Okay, so let's start by doing a little bit of recap on the different types of triangles that we can have. So if we remember, so we can have an equilateral triangle. So we have we can have an equilateral triangle. We can have an isosceles triangle. Remember. We can have a right angle triangle. And then we can have, I'll just write this down here, scalene triangle. Okay, so let's have a look and let's kind of think about what these are, just as a bit of revision, a little bit of recap. So if we take the first one, so if you remember with these guys, let's just change the color a little bit. Okay, so with these guys, if with an equilateral triangle, so remember we have the 6 parts of a triangle. We have the angles, so you have the angles, and then you have the sides. Okay, so with an equilateral triangle, all of the angles are 60 degrees. So 60. Okay, so the 3 angles are 60 degrees. 60, and then this is 60. Okay, and not only that, but if you were to measure the lengths on the 3 sides, the 3 sides are equal to each other as well. And that's why you have this kind of a line with 2 lines going through it. So that's what's known as an equilateral triangle. All 3 sides are the same length, all 3 angles are the same size, and each angle is equal to 60 degrees. Okay, so it might make the next one a bit bigger. And then if we add those up, so 3 multiplied by 60 degrees, it's equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so that's the 3 parts. So that's what's known as an equilateral triangle. If we remember an isosceles triangle, so again, it's kind of similar. And let's just zoom out a little bit. Let's make this one. So if we take this one, let's make it a bit bigger so that we can see it. We'll use some different colors. So if we take this one, what's happening with this one is that the lines are equal. So this line and this line, so these 2 lines, the 2 opposite lines, are of equal length, and the angles here, this angle is equal to this angle. So the two sides are equal in length. So these 2 sides, so this would be side 1 and this will be side 2. So they're equal in length, and the angles opposite the equal sides are equal as well. So this angle and this angle are equal to each other, and that's this guy here. Okay, and let's just make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's that one. Let's just give ourselves a bit more space. So that's that one. And then we have a right angle triangle. So let's make it red. So this is a right angled triangle. And if we remember with a right angled triangle, this angle here is 90 degrees. Okay, and you get that kind of that square. So that's 90 degrees. To measure that with a protractor, it would be 90 degrees. The opposite, so the angle that's opposite this, which is this, or sorry, the line that's opposite this is what's known as the hypotenuse. Okay, so this is what's known as the hypotenuse. And this angle in here is 90 degrees, okay? So remember, so this angle, remember all the angles add up to 180 degrees, but one of the angles in a right angled triangle is 90 degrees. So that's that guy. So that's what's known as a right angled triangle. And then this last one here, I'll just write it kind of like this. So in this one, there's none of the sides are equal. So for example, so this side, and this side, if we call this A, B, and C, so A is not equal to B, and it's not equal to C. So none of the sides are equal to each other, and none of the angles are equal to each other either. Okay, so they're the three types of triangles that you will come across, let's say, within Junior Cert. Okay, so with that in mind, just as that quick refresher, let us look at this question and answer the question. Okay, so the first one that we want to look at, and maybe if I just okay, so let's just make this a little bit smaller. We'll squash it up here a little bit. Okay, so if we think about this first question then, so what we're been asked to do is calculate the measure of the angle marked with the letter in each of the following. So let's look at this first one here. So we can see here, so it says that so this side and this side are equal to each other. So what we're not dealing with an equilateral triangle. Okay, if it was equilateral, that side, and then this side would be equal, but the bottom is not equal to either side. So what we're dealing with one of these guys here. So we see here that both sides are equal to each other. So therefore, if these sides are equal to each other, then both angles are equal to each other as well. So if this is 70 degrees, then this angle here is 70 degrees also. That's your first one. If we have a look at the second one, so again, the second one is the same type of a triangle. So this side and this side is equal to each other. We know that, so these two angles are also equal to each other as well. So now we also know as well is if we take this, so the three sides, and let's just work with this one over here. Okay, so we know that 2b, so 2b, so this is these two angles, so this angle and this angle. So we've two of them, so if we multiply by 2, so 2b plus 36 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So we know that because, remember, the three angles in a triangle have to add up to 180 degrees. So what we know is that 2 times, so this angle and this angle is equal to each other. So we've 2 of them, plus this angle, they almost add up to 180 degrees. So now we can actually work out what B is. So it's just basic algebra. So what we can do is so we want to get rid of this, we want to get the B on its own. So we can minus 36 from here. We minus 36 from here. So these two will cancel out. So 180 minus 36. Let's just do the quick math on that. 180 minus 36 is equal to 144. So what we can say is that 2B is equal to, what we say that was, 144. So 144. Okay, and now we want to find out what, so we want to get rid of the 2. So remember, this is 2 multiplied by B, so we have to divide this by 2. If we divide this side by 2, we have to divide this side by 2. So then B is going to be equal to, so that will go in there once, 2 will go in there once, 2 will go in there once. 2 into 144. So let's do the math on that one. So 144 divided by 2 is equal to 72. So B is equal to 72 degrees. So what we're saying here is that B is 72 degrees. Okay, and that's how you work out. That's how you work out that one. So, like, if you need to pause the video and just have a look through it, by all means, pause the video and have a look through it. So I'm going to continue on. So let's just minimize this one so we have a little bit of space. Okay, so that's that one. So again, if we look at this one here, so and let's just change the color. Okay, so this one here then, so we can see that again we're dealing with this type of a triangle because you have, so this side and this side are equal to each other, and we can see that because of this symbol here. Now that means that it's this type of a triangle, so therefore maybe I might make it different colors so it stands out a bit more. Therefore this angle and this angle have to be equal to each other. So if they're equal to each other, then at this angle here is equal to 55 degrees. So that's that one. So then if we look at this one, so again, see the way we have this one here, this line, this and this, that means that these two lengths are equal to each other. So again, we're dealing with this type of triangle. As a result of that, what we can say is that, and again, maybe if we take this one out and just work with it a little bit more, so a little bit more space. So remember, if these two sides are equal to each other, then these two angles are equal to each other as well. So this angle and this angle are equal to each other. So these two angles are equal to each other, and the whole lot, so this angle, and this angle up here, they all have to add up to 180 degrees. So we have 2 of these angles, so therefore you're saying that 2D, so that's the angle D, so this is the angle D here, so we have 2 of them, this one and this one. So 2D plus 44 is equal to 180. So remember, all the angles in a triangle have to add up to 180. So again, what we can do is we can just use our algebra. So we want to get rid of this as plus 44, so we have to minus 44. We have to minus 44 from here. Okay, so these two will cancel out. So 2D is going to be equal to 180 minus 44. So we have 180 minus 44, which is equal to 136. So that's equal to 136. Now we want to get D on its own. So this is 2 multiplied by D. So we have to divide this by 2. If we divide this side by 2, we have to divide this side by 2. So D then is going to be equal to 136 divided by 2, which is equal to 136 divided by 2, it's equal to 68. So it's equal to 68 degrees. So what we're saying is that this angle here is equal to 68 degrees. Okay, so that's that one, 68 degrees. And let's just move these out of the way so we can make some more space so I can work out the rest of them. Okay, 1 second now. I'll just put these down here. So let's continue on then. So let's look at this question here. So what kind of triangle is this? So again, it's one of these triangles. So you can see that this side and this side are equal to each other. So therefore, this angle here and this angle here have to be equal to each other. So therefore, this angle here, is going to be equal to 70 degrees. So if we look at this one here, we can see again it's another isosceles triangle. So therefore, this angle and then this angle are going to be equal to each other. So this is going to be 75. And this angle, and then this angle will all be equal to 180 degrees. So what we can say is that, so 2 times 75 plus the angle F is going to be equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so we're working on this guy here. So 2 times 75, so 2 75s. So let's clear this. So 2 multiplied by 75 is equal to 150. So we have 150 plus F is equal to 180 degrees. So now we want to find out what F is, so we have to get rid of this 150. So this is plus 150, so we have to minus 150 from this side. If we minus 150 from this side, we have to minus 150 from this side. So these two will cancel out. And F then is going to be equal to 180 minus 150, which is 30 degrees. So therefore, F in this case is 30 degrees. Okay, so this question here then, the next one is going to be very similar. Let's work it out very quickly. So, okay, let's just bring it over here. So let's think about this one. So again, we can see that both sides are equal to each other. So therefore, it's one of these guys. And so therefore, this angle and this angle have to be equal to each other. So this is going to be 70. Let's just change the color. So therefore, what you're saying is that 2 times 70 plus G is equal to 180 degrees. So 2 times 70 and 70 is 140 plus G is equal to 180. And so what we can do is, so this is plus 140, so we can minus 140 from here, we can minus 140 from here. So these two will cancel out, and G then will be equal to 180 minus 140, which is equal to 40 degrees. So G then in this case is G is equal to 40 degrees. And let's have a look at this last one. So again, I'm just starting to run out of space. So bear with me. Okay, let's just put this down here, out of the way. So this last one, so it's a little bit trickier, but we can do it. So if we think about this, okay, so we'll just call these angles, so we'll call this angle and this angle B, okay? We can see that it's this type of a triangle, so therefore this angle here plus these two angles at the bottom all have to add up to 180 degrees. So we can call these two B. So what we can say is that 2 times B plus 44 is equal to 180 degrees. So we can work this out. So we want to get rid of, so this is plus 44. So we minus 44 from here, and then we minus 44 from this side. So these two will cancel out. So 2B is going to be equal to 180 minus 44. Let's see what that is. So 180 minus 44, that's equal to 136. So it's equal to 136. Okay, so I just minus the 180 from the 44. So now we want to, so this is 2 multiplied by B, so the opposite of multiplication is division, so I have to divide this by 2. If I divide this side by 2, I divide this side by 2. So therefore B then is going to be equal to 136 divided by 2. So 136 divided by 2 is equal to 68 degrees. So B is equal to 68 degrees. 68 degrees. Now, if we have a look here, maybe if I just take this out, I'll just cut this out, make it bigger. So if we, and let's just zoom in here. So we've worked out that B is equal to 68 degrees. So we know, so let's just draw this. So you have a line like this. So this is just this section here of the triangle. So we've worked out that B is 68 degrees, and we're trying to figure out what H is. So remember this here, this whole thing here. So if you're to look at this whole angle, let's say, so the angle all the way from there, the whole angle is a straight line, okay? And remember it's equal to 180 degrees. So that's the whole, let's say, like a straight line angle. So what we can do then is so what we're basically saying is that, so H, so the angle H, whatever it is, plus 68 is equal to 180 degrees. So now we can actually work out what H is. So again, all we do is, so we take H, so we want to get rid of the 68 from here. So we have to minus 68. If I minus 68 from this side, I have to minus 68 from this side. These will cancel out, and H is going to be equal to 180 minus 68, which if we, so 180 minus 68, that's equal to 122 degrees. So H then is equal to 122 degrees. So that's that one. So H, so let's have a look. So this angle here then, H, is equal to 122 degrees. Okay, so that's all of those questions. So it's a little bit of revision, and then I just quickly went through the questions as well. So hopefully that makes sense, and it just kind of brings together a lot of the topics that we've covered already. So again, I'll go through a few more of the questions with you, and then I think we're nearly at the end of this chapter then. Okay guys, thank you.